इतना सफर है कुछ होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में। इतना सा फर्क है एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में, उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी कि एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और 7वें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
A very good afternoon to each and everyone who has joined us today for Business Opportunity with Chai webinar series. I, Archana Sharma, along with entire team of Franchise India, welcomes each one of you to this particular digital representation of the brand. Franchise India is the brand, is the platform helping all investors in getting the right business suggestions, feedback, and solutions from our side. We are present in 80 plus cities, and with our 275 plus consultant, we are helping all international and national brands to expand their business. We always encourage each one of you to take conscious and informed decision of selecting the right franchise. We welcome management team of Franchise India, Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am, to this particular Business Opportunity with Chai webinar series. The webinar is hosted by both of them, and during the course of the webinar, once we'll complete the PPT from brand side, we'll take all your queries, and Sonia ma'am would be sharing her insights as well as feedback with each one of us. The brand which we are representing for each one of you, rather there are two brands which we are representing today. One is the Momo Panda, and second one is the Lucky Deli. And we invite and welcome Yash as well as Shivang, who is talking about these two great brands. But first, we'll start with the Momo Pava presentation. So thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today. Before I share my PPT and screen for you, would like to understand the journey from your side. So over to you, Yash. Over to you, Shivang. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure being here right now. So, Archana, can you just play on the presentation? So I'll just speak about the brand a little. It's a QSR chain which is fully devoted to serving momos, and we have currently 16 outlets right now, and we are planning to expand pan India, starting with tier 1 cities in Maharashtra, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Gujarat in the phase 1 part of it, and later on to the northern side of the country. So basically, it's a it's a QSR chain which gives you a fully end product which you have to at your end just preheat and serve it at your end. So can just go on to the next slide. The next one. So we take about the area about 400 to 500 square feet, and all our interiors are, on the lines of the Tibetan culture, which actually Momos originated from. Can you just move on to the next slide? So these are some brand USPs which we follow, and we are very adamant on them. Like we are maintaining hygiene, which is our most primary policy of the brand. So there's a wide range of momos in the menu. It's one of the highest selling products currently in the Indian market in the QSR chain. Uh, so we have good HR policies. We have a feasible business model, and yeah, so it's basically a sustainable business. Like the business in itself is sustainable considering the backend. We are really strong at the backend. So, it makes it easier for the investor to grow his business first. Can we Archana, next slide, please? This is just a representation of the target market. Like it's mostly like students, young crowd. So, but nowadays, like momos is such a thing which is loved by all, and even families, maybe corporates won't they don't mind munching. It's basically a quick snack, which there's no age group as such for the same. Uh, so the target market is like over a period it has expanded quite a lot. The next slide. This is just a this is basically my story, which I how I ventured into this business, and me and my partner how we took it ahead. So you can find this on the website as well. Next, please, Archana. The next. These are some reviews of Zomato and Swiggy and Google reviews. You can just go through the Google reviews. We have excellent Google review, and we are quite well known in Maharashtra. Like considering growth in about 2 years' time, it's been quite a journey for us. So yeah, so the next slide. Okay. So basically, this is the QSR. This is the QSR restaurant. This is basically the market study for QSRs as a business in India. So clearly, it shows it has great, potential. And Momos currently is a product which is highly popular. So yeah, that is why we chose this product, and being passionate about it, we have dig deep into it. The next slide. The next one. These are just basic statistics. You can find them over the website. Next one. Next one. Okay. So this is the rollout plan in the phase one, basically, like how we are planning to expand it eventually. Starting with tier one cities in Maharashtra, and then going ahead with the surrounding states across Maharashtra. So we are mostly focused over the company-owned, company-operated model one, and the second company franchisee-owned, franchisee-operated model. The next one. Next one. Okay, so We are up for master franchisee setups as well. We are up for any corporate sector kiosks as well, food malls, food mall kiosks. Food truck is a model we haven't really gone into it as yet, but we will plan eventually. But mostly we are more focused on the FOFO model as of now, and we're looking for investors who are more interested in the same. Basic financial profile of an ideal franchisee should have these basic parameters. They should suffice. The location should be good because location is all that matters in a restaurant industry. They should have a considerable experience. And yeah, that's about it. Could please go on to the next slide. This is just a financial model, like what the basic investment, the area required, the franchisee fee, the payback period of it, the average ROI, and the agreement period. It's renewable, but we have mentioned it as 5 years. Next slide, please. These are just basically USPs to why to partner with us. It's usually popular. Like the product itself is usually popular in itself, and giving it a modern day, decor, and giving it a more hygienic approach, and making it more specific. Like we serve only different kinds of momos, and we aren't into different products. So we are very specific about what we are serving, and it also leads to operational efficiency. Low setup cost is there. The model itself is very self-sustainable, as we are very strong on the back end. We'll talk about the financial model later on. But yeah, like this is basically why. This is just a representation of why I partner with us. Next one, Arjun. This is the support we give. We give the complete setup support, whatever franchisee fees we take. So whatever lump sum amount we take, we can provide the complete setup in it, right from interiors to the laptop to a pen, everything. You just have to go start a business. So the setup we provide, the training we provide, supply, sourcing, logistics is taken care by us. The marketing in terms of online marketing, etc., is taken care by us. We have we have extensive support in terms of local marketing. Operational manuals are given, advertisement and promotion. The content is given. So we have a good franchisee support from our end. The next one. Just a basic representation. Next one. Next one.
Thank you so much, Yash. Now I invite Shivang, who will be talking about the next brand. Over to you, Shivang. I'll just share my screen for you.
Sure.
Hence, we have two brands we're talking about today. So we have covered one, and we also have another brand to be represented. I will also request, friends, you can put your questions in the Q&A box with respect to the two brands that we discussed. And after we conclude this presentation, we'll take up the questions from all the audience.
Hi, very good afternoon to all the panelists and all the participants who are here to actually learn more about these two brands, Lucky Deli and Momo Panda. And thank you so much, Yash, for giving us really good insights about Momo Panda. We're two homegrown brands from Pune. I think Yash and I, we come from the same batch. We started around the same time in Pune, and we've seen quite a good growth in terms of both our businesses, whereas the Momo Panda caters to savory and LKD Lucky Deli is all about desserts. And when it comes to desserts, particularly Kheer, that's the main focus of our brand, because we've always wondered, why haven't people really tapped into Kheer as a product, as a mainstream commercial product. So we thought that here's a big opportunity and let's just take it on and let's see how it goes for us. So we started way back in 2017 in May. So just to give you an insight, LKD, which is the acronym for La Kheer Deli, basically means that the Kheer Deli. So of course, we had to go for an Indo-Western name because the brand is all about a fusion of different flavors of kheer. So we have way too many flavors when it comes to kheer, and I think we can move on to the next slide so that I can just take everyone through. Perfect. So I'll be talking about a few relevant things which will be very important for you all to understand. First, about our story, our brand, and then how would we work together in order to scale this business. I think we can push forward to the next two slides. So, we had really humble beginnings. Back in 2017, we were just wondering as to what can be done with kheer. So, my mom, my sister, me, Jatin, my partner, all of us, we got together and we really brainstormed and we developed ideas. And that's when we thought that, okay, let's streamline kheer as a product. And we took up La Kheer Delhi as an initiative. It took us almost 6 months of homework, R&D to get the products tested from friends and families, and then put the packaging together. And then we started off from home. It was just an experiment because we really didn't know how people would perceive kheer as a product. Because people are so used to eating ice creams, rabdi, jalebis, and no one really serves kheer as a mainstream product. So we didn't want to increase our risk, so we started off with a small cart. That's my mom in the kitchen, if you can see her in the right side of the image. So we used to make kheer at home, and one fine day we just started with a cart. Can you please move on to the next slide? So on the bottom left side, you can see our cart, which we first started on Friday, 19th May 2017. It used to be parked outside Starbucks. It is still there. Now we're there every day, but initially we started only on weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that too for 4 hours. And we got a humongous response from all the people around because they found the concept to be really unique. They love the products. They like the taste of it. A lot of influencers, bloggers came and covered us, and that helped us kind of go viral in Pune. And very often we would be sold out. So to be honest, when we started off LKD, our target was to sell 30 cups a day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, close to 100 cups on the weekend. But we sold more than 100 cups on our third day on a Sunday, and we were quite overwhelmed with the kind of response we garnered from the entire city. And from then, it's been a great journey for us to scale, and we've been moving forward. Uh, we have a nice team in place. We're all young people who are working around LKD. In fact, we keep collaborating with a lot of brands. We've collaborated with Momo Panda in Pune to set up our cloud kitchens. Yash has been very helpful for us in that manner. We now are across 6 locations in Pune where we have our carts, kiosks, food trucks, and we do online deliveries all across Pune. And now we look to scale to other cities as well with all your support. Can we please move on to the next slide? So, when you're wondering different flavors of kheer, so I'll run you through the menu quickly. So we have 8 flavors on our menu right now, out of which 2 are seasonal. So initially we started off with 4, the classic dry fruit kheer, which is my favorite. That's the kheer that we all get at home, and that's really amazing. Nuttel Oreo, it has Nutella and Oreo, that's a public favorite. There's Gulkand, which is really refreshing, especially during summers, people love it. There's brownie kheer, it's gooey, chocolatey, and muddy. So the kids really enjoy that. There's mocha, if you like really strong and dark coffee. There's blackcurrant, it's a little sweet and tangy, and I'm sure the fruit lovers would relish it. Moving on to the next slide, like I said, we have 2 other seasonal flavors. During summers, which is going to be back again now, there's an Aam Kheer, and there's a strawberry kheer, which comes during winters, and we make it out of fresh strawberries. There are no preservatives added from our side. And if you may notice, there's a penguin, there's Santa Claus. So every cup actually has a caricature. Can we move on to the next slide, please? They come in pre-packed cups, and every cup has a caricature on the right side. You can see those foreigners. So it's a really interesting story. Those guys were in Pune, and they had it on their bucket list to try LKD because they'd heard a lot about it from their friends, and they really relished it. Apart from that, Mr. Vijay Shekhar Sharma, the founder of Paytm, happened to meet us in Bangalore, and we served him kheer, and he liked it so much that he actually went on Twitter and posted about us, which was quite an achievement for us, and that was quite some validation. Again, we met Mr. Sanjeev Kapoor, We served him Kheer in Pune. He approved of it, which is a big deal. I mean, again, good validation for us. Moving on to the next slide, please. Just a few customer reviews. I mean, LKD in Pune really hasn't marketed itself a lot. It's been very organic for us in terms of growth. Our customers love us. We've been associated with customers since day one. For the last almost 3.5 years now, they've been coming to us almost every weekend. They love to bring in their friends and families whenever they have some guests over from different cities. They get them to try it. We're one of the top-rated desserts parlor in Pune. We have around a loyal customer base of around 75%. So if 100 people have Kheer with us, 75% of them definitely repeat with us. Of course, the frequency depends, but people really like us and they come back for their flavors. Even though we have 8 SKUs on the product and we have more than 20 flavors in our arsenal, but we think that we need to launch it slowly and not go all out with our flavors, one step at a time, because there's still a long way to go. We're just in Pune right now, so we can't play all our cards out right now. Moving on to the next slide. So what makes LKD different is A, it's got to be Kheer. B, it's pre-packed Kheer which you can easily carry home. It hardly takes us a minute to dispense the order and put a smile on the customer's face. It's hygienically packed in pre-packed cups and it's vacuum sealed. It gives a shelf life of 6 days. Every cup has a caricature, so people get really creative with their selfies and different kinds of pictures. You can see the dog over there. And also, since we use plastic containers, we're very conscious about the environment. We give away seeds with every purchase. We keep changing the seeds every quarter. So initially we started off with marigold seeds. We moved on to spinach, carrots, beetroots, radish, and now we're giving away sunflower seeds. So every quarter, depending on the season, we give away seeds so that people can actually use the cups as pots. And actually, we encourage our customers to use the cups for storing essentials at home, storing the jewelry, storing handicrafts, storing different little things so that they actually don't end up in the bin. So that's something we keep doing from our end. Moving on to the next slide. So also when it comes to Kheer and branding, LKD really stands out and it differentiates from all its other comparatives. So you can see it in our branding. Who would have really thought that Kheer could be a product which could be served to kids, millennials, teenagers, elderly people, even granddads and grannies. So we ensure that our branding is made in a way that we appeal to all audiences. We primarily went with the 3 main colors which stand out, which is blue, pink, and a light pink. So a lot of people resonate with these colors. And you can see we're quite quirky in terms of our branding and the entire method of portraying Kheer as a brand. We didn't really take the ancient route of identifying or portraying Kheer as a brand. We took a more quirky and a more funky way about it. And it still stands out and people like us for our branding as well, actually. Moving forward. So like I said, this was the first cart to your left that we started in Aund. We set up a store in Pune at JM Road. It's a 150 square feet outlet, just to validate how a store model works. The next slide, please. Then we do a food truck model, which is on the bottom left. Again, if you may see it, it stands out. It's a battery operated food truck. Like I said, we're pretty conscious about the environment. Again, then we have a kiosk. So, the best part about LKD is it doesn't require a lot of space to set up. So, if you're an investor who already owns a shop or an existing restaurant or an existing space which can be utilized, be it 10 square feet, 15 square feet, 20 square feet, we can get really creative in terms of, doing a setup. Similarly, we're collaborating with Momo Panda. There's a great opportunity for you guys. In case if you all are going for an outlet for Momo Panda, we can easily plug in LKD over there as well. And like Yash said that, they're working on different models as well. LKD can be plugged in everywhere. So, both the brands go really well hand in hand because you have the best of savory and the best of desserts. And it's a win-win situation for your customers as well, because all they need to come down is to one shop and, get the sweet cravings and the savory cravings fulfilled. So, you might want to put some thought into this. If you existingly know any place which can support a format which is really small, starting from 10 square feet, goes up to 50, 150, however big you want to make it, we can easily plug it in. Next slide, please. So, our vision and our goal is to have a world full of Kheer stores. In Pune, we've got 10 retail stores, 6 and plus 12 cloud kitchens. It's more than that now. By 2020, the pandemic hit. Otherwise, we were on a track record to do that. But I think we can postpone the goals now and probably achieve them this year. So with your love and support, if you can help us scale to these numbers, that'll be really great, and it'll be a great situation for both of us. Next slide, please. So that's our team. Starting from the left, that's my mom. She's the head chef and the main creator of LKD. There's Mehek, who is one of our co-founders, and she takes care of all college all college activations. There's my sister Shavika, who's been very instrumental in terms of our PR activities and marketing activities. There's Pradyuman, who heads marketing for us. There's Jatin, who heads operations, and I take care of strategy and expansion. So we're a small team, and plus we have our other franchisees and our other team members with a total of around 25, 30 people working towards scaling LKD today. Next slide, please. We've been recognized by quite a lot of people. Like I said, we kind of went viral. So we were covered by Your Story. There was Pune Mirror, Hindustan Times, What's Hot, LBB, Curly Tales. You guys must have heard about all these portals. There's Sakal Times and a lot more. So recently we were covered by the Better India, which kind of again went viral on Google. So we do gain a lot of press attention because the product is unique and the concept is really unique, and our formats are very convenient, and we take care of a lot of other factors. So there's always some press attention that we keep getting, and trust me, all of this has never been paid for. It's something that we get invited for. So that's again a really nice thing for us. Recently, we were covered by Radio 1, Red FM in Pune itself. And we're really interested in scaling this across Mumbai as well now. Next slide, please. So yeah, that's our India winning strategy in phase one. Like I said, we're looking at Maharashtra, Gujarat, parts of Madhya Pradesh. There's Karnataka. We can look at Hyderabad. So, there are different cities that we can supply to. Next slide, please. So, in terms of LKD as an opportunity for you, the opportunity is immense, pan-India. It's a turnkey solution. You really don't have to put in much into operations because we have a central kitchen, which is in Pune, from where we manufacture and package all the kheer. All that needs to be done from your end is, just serve it to customers. All that's required from your end. It's pretty easy in terms of operations. It's a single person format who can take care of the entire cart, the kiosk, or the deli. That's really not a challenge. It's easily scalable. It can be placed across multiple formats. There's malls. There are high streets. We can look at airports, metro stations, railway stations. There are corporate blocks that we can look at. There are educational hubs, colleges, universities. We can look at residential activations, like, we can walk into societies and serve the customers there. There are multiple opportunities. So, wherever you think that a dessert will sell, we can set up there. Because there's really not any constraint in terms of setting up the format. And again, there's not really a lot of work to do. All that needs to be done is packaged and, put it in a bag and serve it to the customers. Only dispensing is required. And I mean, the opportunity again in 25 cities in India, which has a population of around 10 crore, we're not even talking about 1%. If we do 1% on a daily basis, that's a huge number, and then we gain 75% of them. So, again, it's a great opportunity for people who definitely want to look at smaller and bigger formats. We can tap into these. Next slide. So just a few financial dynamics over here. There's a shop model which goes up to 12.5 lakhs. There's a cart kiosk model which goes up to 3.5 lakhs. There's a food truck model which goes up to 5.5 lakhs. So, we're quite flexible in terms of the budget that the investor has. And, our average order value is around $200. A customer at least purchases 2 cups of kheer. We believe in a win-win situation. That's why we pass on a really high gross margin, and we ensure that you have zero wastages, and we take care of your inventory as well, and we take care of the supply chain. All you need to do is run operations smoothly and keep a tab of accounts. It's almost a turnkey solution, and you can look at your ROI anywhere between 12 to 18 months. In case if the sale is really good, we've seen a few cases in Pune where people have recovered their money within 7 to 8 months as well. But again, we don't want to overpromise, but 12 to 18 months seems like an ideal time for you all to recover your investment and then continue to reap onto it. And we're here for the longer run. Like even Yash would agree with that. Both brands are not built with a vision to just last for the next 5 years and shut down. We want to build on a legacy. Just like Yash is doing with Momos and LKD is doing with Kheer, we actually want to build on a brand which will be remembered for the years to come. Something on the likes of natural ice cream, I think. That is a brand which has become synonymous. A brand like Haldiram's. We want to develop a legacy brand, and that's what we're aiming at. So this is just not a short-term thing. It's we're there in it for the longer haul. And both the teams are operationally equipped and very experienced now that we've been working for 4 years. That we can take care of all the operations and all the responsibilities in order to ensure your success. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So, like I said, so we're looking at investors who have the capex and the operational capabilities to set up LKD across one entire city. Like, if you're a large investor, you can as a whole and divide it into parts and try to scale LKD there. If you are a smaller investor with a small budget, you can probably look at capturing 3 areas or 1 geography at a time. If you want to, you have a shop of your own, you have a small restaurant of your own where you want to plug in LKD, you can do that as well to ensure you have smooth and consistent cash flows and a good source of income and an additional product to serve to your customers. Apart from that, there are multiple opportunities. We can do Horeca, we can start supplying to hotels, restaurants, caterers. We can start placing our products in the retail market. We can start delivering online through Swiggy and Zomato. We have our own website as well through which we deliver online. So there are multiple avenues and revenue sources when it comes to this business. Moving forward, please. And of course, like I think we're really keen on getting master franchise deals. So that in terms of communication it is easier, in terms of supply it is easier, in terms of rolling out more franchisees and having committed goals, everything is streamlined and we can run operations smoothly. So if anyone's keen, you can definitely put up your questions there and we'll be more than happy to take them forward. Next slide, please. Just a few key prerequisites: your company formation, your GST number, your retailer's license, your rent agreements, franchise agreements. These are just a few documentations which will be required before proceeding and actually closing the deal and finalizing the structure. The setup time for a franchisee is anywhere between 15 to 30 days, depending on the model. We can try to make that process even quicker if it's a master franchisee, because then we'll be looking at volumes. The next slide, please. In terms of support, all the paperwork, all approvals, permissions will be taken care by us. We'll definitely assist you with the same. The design and development of the kiosk and food truck will be done by us. We'll take care of all of that. Your product training and teaching the person at the counter to sell to the customer, and all these things will be taken care of. Products. Supplies will be taken care of course, the logistics of it. Innovation, like I said, we already have 20 flavors in our arsenal. So, product innovation is something that we are very keen on, and we need to make sure that we are very, very relevant with the market and the trends of the market. In terms of central marketing, we run our Instagram page, we have our Facebook page, we do a lot of ad campaigns, we do a lot of press releases, so there'll be a lot of support from that end. But at the local level marketing, we would require support from you as well and your ideas as well. All our operational guidelines will be given to you. Waste control management will be taken care of. Inventory planning and optimization taken care of so that you all have no wastages and damages. And we have the freshest product going to the customer. Also, the best part is those seeds that I was talking about, that is something that we do as a CSR from our side. So they come to you for free. There are no extra costs for the seeds. Passing on to the next slide, please.
That's the last slide.
All right, perfect. So that's about it, guys. I mean, thank you so much for taking out the time to actually come and give us a ear and, listen us out. And we would love to hear more from you all. And we're looking forward to this.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Shivang, and thank you so much, Yash, for this wonderful presentation. And I would say both these categories are great categories, especially momos. It's continuing to gain a very big market share in the Indian QSR, and big success stories in this category with leading names raising funds. And Kheer, I would say, is a great innovation, and we've consumed this dessert at homes for almost our entire life. We've been doing that, and similar innovation happened in the yogurt too. And today, yogurt, if you see as a market, this is almost globally should be about 144 billion dollars in the next 5 odd years. And so I feel both these categories are great, and especially Lakhi, I'd say there's a great disruption also that we have done in this category. It's an answer to a lot of dessert brands that we all consume these days. And it can also be a very good model for a multi-unit franchise, especially for cart kiosk or even a food truck, which can be placed at strategic locations and some upcoming locations as a blend of both. And before I take up the questions, friends, I will also request, I do see some questions which have started to coming in the Q&A box, and we'll take all these questions one on one. And I will also like to encourage everybody who's listening, do mention which city that you're keen for, and also the name of the brand, and we'll take up all these questions. Now, to start off with, Yash, maybe we'll start with your brand, which is Momo Panda, and we're talking about, and overall between the two businesses, friends, that we talked about. So we have Momo Panda, which is offering a QSR format, which is about 500 square feet of space, an investment of about 22.5 lakhs with 7 lakhs as a franchise fees. And we have Kheer, which comes at three, or I would say four different formats, with investment ranging from 1.5 lakhs and goes up to 8 odd lakhs. So, Yash, if you talk about the model, we did, I think, briefly understand the investment. So, I think there are two things, which everybody would want to know. One, we are talking about maybe a 22.5 lakhs kind of a deployment of investment. If we can briefly also
Right.
understand the breakup of this investment, one, and if you have an access to your menu, I'm sure a lot of our investors would also like to see the menu that we serve. So if we can
Okay.
understand the breakup and the menu, and then I would like to also cover on the operating expenses. Typically, how much would it take for a franchise partner to reach and put that extra maybe working capital which he needs to do for the initial months.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the investment basically includes all the interiors, exteriors of the outlet, the complete setup. So as I said, right from the POS system to the software to the, we even hand over a phone for that matter. So right from everything, you just have to sit down and start business. Right from the kitchen equipments, right from the aesthetics of the outlet, right from initial stocking of the outlet. So everything is included in that money basically. And the breakup actually, I'm not sure if I have it right now on this desktop, and the menu as well. Maybe I can just share it in about 5-10 minutes. I'll have to just,
Sure, no
or
problem.
maybe, yeah. So, so on an average, we are giving a gross margin about 53%. So for any product which is being sold at about, let's say, $100, so we are giving a gross margin of 53 rupees, and having the momos having a shelf life of 9 months. There is no wastage as such which the franchisee has to take care of. So let's consider any franchisee, on an average sale, let's say on a very average sale. So considering right now in Pune, on an average, we are selling around 250, 300 plates of momos a day per outlet on an average. But let's say if you're considering any layman or any specific area where they are selling less than average. So let's say below 100 plates they're selling, below 80 plates they're selling. So they'll still have a return on investment about 15 months or so, 12 months to 15 months. So like Shivang said, there have been cases in Pune where people have recovered their money in 4 months to 5 months. So actually, it all depends on what area you are targeting, and I would suggest in specific investors to look for areas where there's more walk-in and where a QSR brand will make justice basically. So yeah, it all depends on a good area. So you don't have to worry about the back end as well. So the back end is quite, as I said, the model is quite sustainable in itself. So when I'm giving a margin to play around, like a 53% gross margin to play around, the profit ranges from around 20 to 25%. And when you're talking in volumes, like I said, the initial investment which you're putting in. So we have a great return on investment, even when we are not talking about the best of scenarios or maybe less than average sales. So to cope up with all of this, there is a very unique or maybe let's say relieving point for the investor. As a product, it has a shelf life of 9 months. So considering earlier, like used to have a shelf life of a month or so. So maybe some days there used to be sales, some days there used to not be those great sales or something. So they used to have to go to a lot of wastages and recurring costs or more. But right now we have a shelf life of 9 months, and we have a great backend support in terms of inventory planning. We only set up the inventory planning initially, and we only take care of logistics. So yeah, so that's about it actually.
Okay. And when we talk about the entire supply chain, so the entire supply chain would be handled by you, or there is something which even the franchisee needs to procure at the local level? Because it's a very idiot-proof model, especially when we talk about momos as a business format. You don't need, because I saw somebody putting a question, what happens to the chef? It does not need any kind of specialization, friends. The entire supply, especially for the momos, come from the companies. So, and also it has a big shelf life of 9 months. So virtually you will not have any wastage. It is not a perishable product which stays and gets wasted at the end of the day. So big shelf life and does not require any kind of specialization of the chefs.
Right. Right. So basically, the products, they are made from a central kitchen and sent across everywhere. So all the 16 outlets which we are having right now, they serve the same momos. And there is also a plus point in this model that you don't need any specialized chef. You don't need so basically for momos and all, you need a Commie 1 chef, you need a Commie 2 chef. So nothing at your end is required as such, of such kind. You can just start your outlet by basic helpers, by basic staff, by a basic manager. You don't need trained staff or trained staff or highly paid staff to make the momos. The momos are going to come at your place already, basically you just have to preheat and serve it. The momos are going to be coming at your place fully cooked. So you don't have to worry about making the momos as such. The momos are going to come at your place. You just have to preheat them and serve them and store them. So in terms of storage, like you said, so for any ideal average sale, you can store the momos in the fridges we give for about 20 days. So 20 days of stock can be kept in the fridge. Your volumes are really high and your sale is doing good. For one instance, we started one outlet recently at Satara. They are doing phenomenal business. So their stocks are getting over in a week's time, and they need transport now and then for momos and all. So now they have bought a place at a cold storage nearby, which serves them a pallet. So a pallet is about 1 ton of momos. So 1 ton of momos in about 1,500 rupees, which is less than a 500-liter fridge light bill. So if someone is concerned about how to store the momos, so you can either store the momos at your place itself with keeping the fridges we give. So we provide that in the initial setup as well. But let's say if your sale is phenomenal and you need to stack up momos, so you can store it at any nearby cold storage. You won't need more than 1 pallet or 2 pallet at the most if you're storing a bulk. A pallet costs about 1,500 rupees for a ton. So a ton 1 ton momos is, I don't know, it equals to about 40,000 pieces or something like that. So, that is, those we are talking about sales. Like if you're storing 2 tons of momos at your end, it is like a sale which will give you a return on investment in about 6 months time. So storage, supply, logistics is not a problem. Let's say from Pune, if we have to supply to Kashmir, we can do it. If we supply to Lakshadweep, we can do it. So cold chain logistics is, it's a good format in India, and it's been taken care of by third parties, and they're really good at it. So you don't have to worry about it's just like basically transporting ice cream. So as ice cream needs frozen transportation, momos will be having the same thing. And we have a very vast chain in India in terms of supply chain logistics and frozen food.
Absolutely. Now, Yash, my other question would also be, you mentioned during the last conversation, there are about 250 to 300 plates that you sell from on an average outlet of yours in Pune. And typically, what would be the average, APC, agar main APC average price ticket per consumer, if we need to understand how much would that be?
Average ticket size per consumer is around 250 rupees.
Okay.
So, but if you're considering the number of plates, it's a different calculation. So you'll have to calculate by about 110 rupees or something. But if you're calculating about 258 to 300 tickets per day, so that equals to around 500 plates a day. So there are outlets where we are doing 500, 600 plates a day. So that's about a sale of 50, 60,000 a day. So, and there are outlets where we are doing 250 to 300 plates a day, which is like 150 tickets per day. So 150 tickets amounts to about, let's say 30, 35, a sale of 30, 35,000 rupees a day.
So the revenue would be anything between, on an average, anything between, say, about 7 to 10 odd lakhs?
It started from 75 rupees and it ends about 215 rupees. So it is very for momos. That is why most of the target area students and all. Am I audible?
Yes, I think we did miss you in between. So what we're saying is the average revenue or a throughput of an outlet can vary between about 7.5 lakhs to 10 odd lakhs. And how long will it take for a franchisee to reach that level? Because it will take some kind of gestation time to build that market and build that kind of business. One, how long does it take for him? And second, what kind of expenses, operating expenses one needs to have? Because I understand it might not require a huge manpower to be there at the outlet. But rental is an important component, and there are other expenses like food cost. You mentioned about 53. So I'm assuming the food cost alone would be about 40% here. 40%,
yes.
40,
45%. Yes.
45, yeah, 45% is the food cost. So how would the unit economics work? So if somebody is doing, say, 7 lakhs average from an outlet, what is the net revenue or business one can have potential to do?
Okay, so basically our average monthly revenue or income, you can say per outlet is ranging to about 8 to 9 lakh rupees in Pune. So some outlets are doing a sale of 14 lakh rupees a month. Some outlets are doing a sale of 10 lakh rupees a month. Some outlets are doing a sale of 6 lakh rupees, 7 lakh rupees a month. Over and all, you have a 53% gross margin to play around with, excluding the food cost, excluding the operation cost for it. So that is all included in that 45, 46%. So apart from that, you basically have to just worry about 4 things. That is the light bill, monthly light bill, which you'll be getting, the rental, the staff salaries. So all of these, basically utilities, rentals and staff salaries, and whatever taxation component is there. So all this can go sum up to a percent of around, let's say 20% something. And considering 1% wastage, 1% local marketing, which you will be utilizing. So you're left with a margin of about 26 to 27%. And to achieve these sales now, this is very, you can say this is, like I said, it completely depends on the area. It completely depends on what kind of marketing you're doing. So in a tier 2 city like Satara, from D2, they have been doing a sale of 35,000 rupees a day. Okay. So big number. Yeah, and let's consider in Pune, there are outlets which have been doing a sale of 20,000 rupees from day 1. and there are areas where they are doing a sale of rupees from day one. So you cannot really, so for we as a company, while looking for a potential franchisee, uh, we always tell them this one thing, that the area is very important, and what you have it, like you being a localite over there, what you have in that area is really important. So we provide pre-opening support. We provide pre-opening support in terms of marketing, this or that, like we give them good marketing content and everything. By ourselves, we try to promote in that area before the opening only. So we try to create a hype over there and everything. But definitely in the end, it lies completely on the area which we are looking at. So it is very area centric, and like any restaurant industry is very area centric. You have to have a good location to have good business.
Yeah.
So that is the most primary requirement of any brand to work out properly from day one. But let's say if you're not looking at sales from day one, let's say you can expect a time period of about 2 months to 3 months time to get to a desirable desirable revenue per month.
Right. And yes, what rentals would you suggest? So for about 45% would go in the food cost, which is all supplied by you.
9% rentals.
About 10%, and then we have salary
Yeah.
component. How much would that be? How many people we need to service this kind of I would say rush or a flow of
So let's say for any average sale, 3 to 4 people should be enough. But let's say if you're doing great sales, okay, so everything is like, it goes hand in hand. If you're going for an expensive area for a rental of 1 lakh rupees, in Pune we don't have a single outlet which is operating below 1 lakh rupees. So rental. So if you're going for an area of 1 lakh rupees rental, then you should expect a sale of around 10 lakh rupees per month. So it goes hand in hand. If you're doing a sale of 10 lakh rupees per month, you need to have at least 5 to 6 staff.
Right. And that your company will do some kind of Reiki to understand the potential of the location and give some assumptions of the potential business from there. And is there any royalty that we're taking from the partners apart from?
We are not taking any royalty. So there's this 2% royalty which we have included in the food cost itself. So actually, there's no royalty as such. Earlier, we used to charge 25,000 rupees per month as royalty. But we have kept that again as a exponential component, and we haven't kept it, as a fixed component in the model, because to give that added support, to give that added, that upper hand to the franchisee, we have come down to this agreement that we won't take any royalty from that.
Sure. So it's a no royalty model, friends. The entire supply chain from the company does not require any specialization of cooks, chefs. Nothing is required. But yes, the franchisee will get the basic training of operating day-to-day operations at the outlet. The average sales which Momo Panda in Pune, the current outlets which they are doing, is anything between 20,000 to about 40,000 per day kind of a sale, which translates to about I would say 6 lakhs to about 12, 14 lakhs kind of a monthly revenue. Obviously, depending on the location. Yash, which are the important markets that you wish to enter? कौन सी ऐसी important markets हैं which are priority for you at this stage? While you mentioned from the supply chain point of view, it is quite sophisticated. You can supply pan India, but I understand there would be some markets where you want to create a cluster and create a big impact. So, which are the immediate markets for you at this stage?
Okay, the immediate markets, let's say Hyderabad and Mumbai and Gujarat. So let's start from Mumbai. We say so right now in Maharashtra, we are very well known in tier 1 cities, in tier 2 cities as well. So my main approach, my primary approach towards going ahead with, in phase 1 should be Mumbai as a market. So it has great potential.
Right.
So we are looking at Mumbai, in terms of everything, in terms of, we as a company are very keen on entering Mumbai. Hyderabad is somewhere we want to enter, as the market there is not, quite evolved in terms of a QSR chain which is associated with momos. So considering a QSR chain associated with momos, in itself, pan India, there are very few players in the market, and So we are quite confident about the backend, and we are quite confident about the kind of product we are serving. So
Pune में आपका you already have a good presence. So Pune में भी आप देख रहे हैं. Are you looking at more partners in Pune? And how many outlets can Pune sustain? कितना potential आपको लगता है पुणे में ही कितने और किए जा सकते हैं?
पुणे में और 4-5 हो सकते हैं at the most. So we don't want to make a cluster where like people are eating each other's businesses. We have covered most of the areas. So there are very few areas which are actually left in Pune there where we could cater. So and actually in Pune we already have 25 franchisee inquiries pending. So Pune, I'm not sure if I'm very keenly looking as a market, like because it is eventually and organically growing. So when we are talking about expansion, we are mostly looking at tier 1 cities across Maharashtra and then the neighboring states across Maharashtra. So Bangalore, Hyderabad, Gujarat, and Mumbai would be my primary areas of interest.
Absolutely. So friends, I'll take maybe a moment for I have something on the website which I like to show everyone. I did come across one of the videos for LKD and something on Zomato, Yash, because you're not able to pull on the menu. I don't know if it is the right menu, but maybe I can show whatever I could lay my hands on. So friends, this is what I have. You can all have a look at the picture. So this is what the product looks like, and if you go further down you also have some glimpses of the outlet. This is what I would say the outlet also looks like. So it's a small format. Yes, this is 400 square feet. Okay, so this is the outlet picture. Great. So this is what friends it looks like. Very quickly I'll take you through the menu if this is the right menu. Wait, why can't I put on the menu? Wait, just a moment.
So these are tandoori momos, which are actually quite famous. People come from long, from very far away to.
Okay, so we see it starts from about 75 for the basic, and it goes for value additions that we do with the food. And non-veg is starting 80 to about 100, and you have a lot of variations which are there. And then we have some more, which includes your paneer, which again starts from about 95. And then we have some special momos which start from about 120. And then it is combined with the beverages, which are iced tea beverages, right? Yeah. So is this all we have in the menu? If I've pulled out the right one.
Yes, that's about it. Yes. We are very focused on just selling momos and nothing else. If you could just by any chance go to the FC, this is the FC Road outlet. If you just go to the Kothurud outlet on the website as well.
So the menu is same here, while
yes, it is the same. Okay. Maybe not Zomato, just on Google, if you could just go through it. I'd just like to share some insights.
You want to showcase? Because I see pictures are more or less. So these are the images of the outlet that you want to show?
Yeah. So it's okay. So I just would like to tell you this specific area has about 8 Momo joints, considering inclusive of Wow Momos. It's a pan-India brand. It has about 250 outlets. So here there are 8 Momo outlets in a single lane, like a single road. There are 8 outlets.
I think on the right hand side we can see this is the picture, and the right hand side we see Wow Momos and some other joints also. I think
there are 8 Momo joints in the same lane, and I'm very I'm proud to say that we are one of the best selling outlets over there. And let's say comparing any other Momo brand, we are doing business into 10 times of the 10 times the business of any Momo brand business.
Sure.
So yeah.
Great, Yash. And I will also take maybe a moment. So, Yash, we've covered a lot of questions. And friends, anyone who's keen, you can reach out. And I would also say, because Pune, they're already running many locations. If you want to go to any of these outlets, and rather, I would recommend आप किसी भी outlet पे जाके अगर आप meeting भी करना चाहते हैं, maybe visit one of the outlets which is recommended by Yash and Shivang in Pune. And even outside Pune, whosoever, I think Bombay is very close by. Anyone visiting from these locations can also do that. While we will keep a date where we bring prospective investors to you, I will also take a moment where I would like to show maybe one of the videos which I did come across on Lucky. And yeah, I think this is the video, and this is one of the locations that I could find. Great. I think that was something I wanted to show. It's a very neat outlet. It's a gourmet outlet which they have made. And Shivang, some questions which I would like to take. I think you did put an answer to almost every question which our listeners or viewers, I would say, they have asked. But just to start off with, I like to ask, I would like to cover a little bit on the unit economics part of it. Typically, what revenue you talked about, number of cups an outlet kiosk can do. And so if you can talk also on the unit expenses, typically how much would it take for somebody to survive on a kiosk or a food truck or an outlet of the kind that we saw in the video? And what exactly is an average, sales these formats can do? And one thing which I did notice in your presentation was an element of franchise fees, where we saw 1.5 lakhs for cart and food court, not sorry, a food truck. And then there was the element of franchise fees for your other outlet format, which was 4 lakhs. And the investment also for the cart is about 1.5. So it means 1.5 plus 1.5, or how would you segregate that investment? So is that 4 lakhs over and above the investment that you showcased at the top?
So we go for a cart kiosk model. It goes up to 1.5 lakhs, which is for the setup of the cart and kiosk, which is all inclusive of the fridge, the batteries, the lights, acrylic boards, all the branding which comes along with it. Additionally, we charge a brand fee of 1.5 lakhs plus GST. And there's a security deposit that we take of 50,000, which is against the rotation of the stock, because we do our billing on a weekly basis. Every 7 days, we settle accounts. So to ensure that we have enough credit to give to the vendor, we keep a 50,000 security deposit with us, which is refundable, of course. And talking in terms of, unit economics of sales, we pass on a flat margin of 35%. With apart from that, the logistics, the wastages, your stock inventory, the supply chain, everything will be taken care and controlled by us. Within 35%, the major expenses that will be borne by you would be your rentals, your electricity bills, and your staff salaries, and miscellaneous expenses which may occur here and there. But to give you an idea, we operate a food truck. We operate 2 food trucks in Pune. So one of the food truck owners is not paying a rent because he has his contacts and he gets away with it. The other food truck owner is paying a rent of 10,000 rupees per month. The salary is ideally between 8 to 10,000, and we give an incentive to the person working there, which is around 2 rupees per cup or 3 rupees per cup, depending on the franchise owner, the way he wants to structure the incentive deal, so that the person situated or present there is more motivated to sell, and it becomes like an additional income for him. Thirdly, your electricity bill is anywhere between 1,500 to 2,500, not more than that. So, your total cost that we're looking at is operationally for a cart, kiosk, or a food truck should be anywhere between 20 to 30,000 on a monthly basis. In terms of our daily sales, we're looking at anywhere between 80 to 120 cups on an average, which is what our formats are doing across Pune right now.
Mhm.
And, the average ticket size is around 200 rupees. So we're looking at, around 40 to 60 purchases on a daily basis. And we do our business 75% offline, which is walk-ins and pickups, and 25% online, which is through Swiggy, Zomato, Dunzo, and our website. And of course, orders via calls. So, there are multiple ways to get orders as well. We do get bulk orders. So those are irrespective of the counter sales happening.
Mhm.
And so, a franchisee would be doing a business of anywhere between 2 to 4 lakhs on a monthly basis, out of which you're left with 35%. So on the bottom line, if you're doing around 2 lakh rupees of business, 35% is 70,000 would be your gross margin, out of which if 30,000 are your expenses, 40,000 would be your net income. So that's almost 20% in terms of your net margins. And if you look at the top line, if you do around a business of 4 lakhs, you gross around 1,40,000, and then you have your expenses which are around 30,000, so you make a net margin of 1,10,000. So basically it's a volume based business. The higher sales you do, the better it is. It completely depends on, like Yash said, the kind of bandwidth that a person has in a certain area. Location is definitely key.
Absolutely.
And I'll just share a small example. We were at Balewadi High Street, so we were opposite Siemens. We were doing a sale of around 40 to 70 units a day. The minute we went 100 meters ahead from there, opposite McDonald's, our sale increased by 200%. So, we were doing a sale of 150 to 200 cups. So the sale directly is proportional to the kind of location, also to the kind of network and the kind of marketing and the kind of people you invite initially, and you help spread the word. So it's very important that you have your network of, you at least invite a few local bloggers, influencers, lifestyle bloggers, and these guys really get the help spreading.
Correct. And Shivank, because location, especially in the business of kiosk, is extremely important, and every state or municipal corporation would have their own guidelines, and it becomes tricky for an investor to reach out and find these spots. So I had two questions, and I did see some in the audience also. I think we had Poonam Sapruji asking this question. We have one of our partners, Mr. Shiva Krishna Kumar, also from Vijayawada, asking. So two things, will the company also support? If I'm a franchisee, I want to open up some locations. Would you help them to locate these spots? One, or the other is, you currently have any spots where these kiosks can be put up?
So the ideal location for anything like this format would be outside a shop, where you have sufficient frontage and you can set up a cart there, or within an existing restaurant, or within a commercial hub, maybe a shopping mall, or something like, or an office space where we can set up something like this, where we really don't require much permissions from the municipal corporations. To be very honest, in Pune and Mumbai, the corporations are really strict and they've stopped giving out licenses.
Right.
So to do something on the roads is quite challenging. It's not like it's not possible. We've been doing it in Pune, but it's something that which comes from within your networks and your contacts and how well you manage it after all. And secondly, but if you have a shop or an existing restaurant, or you have access to any space, you can easily set it up over there. That shouldn't be a problem. And when it comes to food truck, it is really mobile. It's very easy to maneuver the food truck and take it around multiple locations, so you can work around that. Completely depends on the network of the investor and the contacts that he has. But at the same time, we definitely do help the investor with a recce of the location and help him identify the right location, because we cater largely to the family crowd, more than students and older people. We cater to most of the working bachelors and the family crowd. So generally anywhere around office spaces, shopping malls, or if you have a good frontage outside your shop, we can plug it in over there as well, where there are high footfalls especially.
Sure. And if we talk about, say, Pune as a market, you already running some, and I asked the same question to Yash also. What number of more spots or locations you think Pune can easily hold?
I think, like, we don't want to create a clutter between franchisees and make sure that, each one is doing good business. But if a franchisee wants to take up a certain region, say for example, North Pune, South Pune, then they can look at multiple options within that particular region. But I think Pune has scope for around 5 more carts and kiosks in and around this. Definitely.
Okay, so I'll quickly take some questions, Shivang, while we have a short time, but for the interest of every audience, because we have replied all of them, but might be helpful if we even, so we have Ayushi Arya, I think she's from Chandigarh. She wanted to know if we can deal with only veg momos. So the answer is yes, that's what we had written. So we can do even a veg format, but ideally if you have veg and non-veg, because one, the offering is not too big. They only specialize in momos. If you do two, then but if you do only veg, then I would say your sales would be affected a lot. And then we did cover the licensing part. Shivang, would you want to cover what kind of licenses would it require? Especially kiosk hai, ya aapka outlet hai, what kind of licensing on the food side, or apart from GST, which everybody needs to have, any kind of special licenses which these formats need to have?
All we would require is a retailer's food license, which we can get from FSSAI. Apart from that, we'll need a corporation license in case if we plan to do it somewhere on the streets or the road. But again, that we need to go through the entire process, and we'll definitely assist you with all the documentations that are required.
Okay, and we have a question from Suhas Bandevar, has asked on the dead stock or expired stock, and you mentioned you manage the inventory very well, so there is 0% wastage, so to say. Since the shelf life of your product is about 6 days, what is the mechanism of our inventory management, and how do we do that?
So we ensure that we don't stock excessive inventory. So we plan our inventory in a way that the stock suffices for 72 hours, so that the customer gets a fresher product, and we rotate the inventory every 48 hours. So every alternate day you'll be getting new stock from our kitchen, and we'll take care of the entire supply. And if there is any return or excessive stock which is unsold, we take it back and we rotate it through fast moving stores so that nothing gets wasted. And we've been managing that very well in Pune, and we're sure within the limits of the states that we mentioned, which is Maharashtra, Gujarat, parts of Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, and Hyderabad, we can manage all of this really well.
Sure, very helpful. Shivang, again, the market, you said Maharashtra is your priority to get in first, and that's the market that we're looking, including Gujarat, or do we expect only to Maharashtra?
I think initially we're focusing only on Mumbai because that's the closest to Pune. And Mumbai itself is a huge market where we see a potential of at least a sale of 5,000 to 10,000 units a day through multiple franchisees. So if that's a market we can tap into, that'll be great. And I think our focus is only on Mumbai right now. But if there are certain inquiries along the way, if someone wants to take up a franchise, a master franchise in other different regions, and wants to develop a region at a particular time, we can support them with that as well.
Okay. And Shivang, one last question which I want to pick up is on the SKUs. What are the different offerings that we have, or how many SKUs or product flavors that we have at the store? And I also have Srivastav asking on sugar-free Kheer, which you mentioned that you will be out with it soon.
Correct. So we have 6 flavors plus 2 seasonal flavors, so that's 8 in total. And we have around another 20 flavors in the pipeline. But like I said, we want to launch them one flavor at a time. We don't want to confuse our audience with a lot of flavors because the product is relatively new. And we want to become a legacy brand, so one flavor at a time, and we'll do it at the right time. And we want to ensure that, we have offerings right from, say, 49 rupees to maybe a Kheer worth 500 rupees. So we're planning to work on those lines as well.
Okay. And you also mentioned, currently we only have these small packs, which are retail packs. Will we also have a family pack or a party pack? Is that also something in line, or you currently do that based on the order that you get?
That is custom. That is made to order, actually. We do that. We have packs available in 1 kg, 2 kgs, 4 kgs. We have smaller packs, which are 50 ml, 100 ml as well. But they're purely made to order. In case if we get the order from any franchisee well in advance, we can always cater to those orders as well.
Sure. Shivang, maybe last question I'll pick from Mr. Uday Tirthakar. I think he's asked both of you, one on the staff. While we did cover that, he seems to have missed that. He says, LKD and Momo Panda, does it require a support staff, or it can be handled by 1 or 2 people depending on the load? And the other question he wants to know, can LKD be set up in Sholapur?
Yes, LKD can definitely be set up in Solapur since it is in Maharashtra, and it's almost, I think, 2.5 hours, 3 hours away from Pune. And in terms of support staff, LKD, when it comes to LKD, generally requires 1 person. But it's always nice to have a backup of a second person so that, if one person is on a leave or has some hiccups operationally, the other person can always cover up for him and there is no loss in business. So yeah, we generally prefer anything between 1 to 2 people. When it comes to Momo Panda, I think they require around 3 to 4 people depending on the sales.
All right. And the other is on the staff you already covered. And yes, it goes same for your, while you only have one format. So you mentioned depending on the load, you need to increase. And ideally about 3 odd people for one outlet should be able to suffice. So very helpful, Shivang and Yash. I think we've covered a lot of questions. And friends, all of you who are looking for getting a presentation, I did see one of you asking for the slides and Mr. Ravindra asking more information. So friends, we would be able to share all that across to you through a presentation where our team members and our independent franchise consultants will reach out to all of you. And we'll also set up a date where we can help you get connected with both Shivang and Yash for a one-on-one meeting or a call. So all of you in Pune can all come for a meeting if you wish to, and I would advise you should. And others who are outside Pune or at little distant location, we will also suggest we can come over a Zoom call. So any date that you suggest in this week, Ashna, have you decided any date that we can do an IFM or a discovery day so that we can
Yeah.
take attention?
Ma'am, 10th is the date, which is Saturday we have fixed for the brand.
Okay, so which is almost, I would say 4 days from now. And friends, we'll start reaching out to all of you. Whatever information you seek from us, we'll share all that information so that you're better prepared for the meeting that you wish to do. And before we close, Yash and Shivang, any message that you want to give to everybody who's present here listening to you?
Well, if anyone's in Pune, do come down to our stores and do try Kheer. I think right now there are certain restrictions, so you can always order online. We're available all day long and we deliver all across Pune. And people in and around Pune, if you want to have LKD, you can let your friends from Pune know. We'll send it across to them. And you can go on Google, look up about us, do your research, see the customer reviews, and actually learn more about the brand and the story. There's quite a lot of information available on Google for you all. And you can always get in touch with us at any given point of time for more information. We'll be more than happy to talk to you.
Okay, thanks, Shivang. And yes, any last message from you? We don't hear from Yash. So friends, thank you for being with us. As we mentioned, 10th is the date that we will look forward to connecting with both the brands, and anybody in Pune can move around or order online. You can taste, experience the product. And we also have put a hotline number 9717683838 where you can reach out for any information with respect to the business model. And before we close, Ashna, can I request you to please inform our viewers on the webinar that we plan to do tomorrow?
Sure. So thank you so much, Yash. Thank you so much, Shivang, for joining us today. Let us compliment you for the colorful presentation you shared with us. We'll come back to you on 10th, where we will invite all our investors for one-to-one interaction. Sonia ma'am, thank you so much for joining us today and taking all the queries. All the dear friends, thank you so much for joining us today. We try to answer most of the queries. All the unanswered queries will be answered shortly. Please do reach out to us at our business hotline number, which is 9717683838. Please save this number in your phone book so that you get a regular updates from your site. We also encourage you to join us on different social handles. Information on your screen. You will get a lot of information about business opportunities or these sites and the platforms. Do subscribe our Facebook page. The link is Franchiseindia Brands Limited. That's the page you can subscribe. Go under video section to see all the previously done webinar. You can also join and link with Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am at their respective LinkedIn IDs. Information on the screen. And tomorrow again, we are inviting you to join us for the journey of UNS Preschool. That's the international school we are bringing for you. Please do registration today at the same business hotline number so that you can join us tomorrow sharp 12 p.m. Thank you so much once again for joining in today. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, friends.
Thank you so much, Archana. Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shivang. Bye. Thanks for all the support.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone else. Thank you.